to sew for free or very, very affordably. These are my tips on how to save money when you're learning to sew. My name is Dennett. I'm a sewing content creator, sewing pattern designer, and I have a degree in fashion design and been sewing for about 13 years. And I started off as home sewist, so here are my tips of how to make learning to sew a little bit more affordable or almost free. Equipment. Again, it can be quite expensive, but realistically there are ways of saving money and you don't always need it all when you're starting to learn to sew. Thread, you really need thread. That is something that you cannot sew without. It's essential. Again, I had a look on Facebook Marketplace in my local area. People are giving away sewing supplies or selling it very, very cheap. Also, there's boot sales or charity shops. You'd be lucky to get some thread. If you have someone sewing in your family, it may be worth just asking, can I borrow some thread? Because the likelihood is that they've got a lot of thread and it's just sitting around. If not, go to your local haberdashery and just buy one little bit of thread. It will be only a few pounds. You don't need to go and buy every single colour, every single type. Just grab some 100% polyester or 100% cotton thread and you're good to go. With other sewing equipment, yes, you need fabric scissors, and when you start to learn to sew, I would always recommend that is something that you could put your money into, a nice pair of scissors, because you're going to be using them a lot and you can get some really good ones and it does enhance your sewing. However, if you're just starting to learn to sew and you have a pair of paper scissors, just use them. It doesn't matter. If you just want to be cutting up some fabric when you're learning to sew and you're just learning how to sew straight, just use your normal paper scissors. And then when you get into it, then you can think about buying some scissors. So again, do not go out and spend 10, 20, 30 pounds on a pair of scissors when you're just learning to sew. Grab your kitchen scissors or grab your paper scissors. That's all you need. One item that you probably definitely need to spend money on, again, is quite an affordable item and it shouldn't cost you too much, are either sewing pins or sewing clips. I'd recommend pins when you're first learning to sew because they're a little bit easier and precise and it gives you that good technique and knowledge of how to pin correctly. These again will be at your local haberdashery or online. You can get them on eBay, Amazon for only a couple of pounds. So those are my few things and a few tips of how to save money when learning to sew. I think it's always good to just practice, learn, see if it's for you, and then if you really fall in love with it and it's your passion, you can go and buy everything. So hopefully that helps. Those are a few of my tips of making sewing a little bit more affordable or almost free, because sewing can be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it can be. All this month I'm posting a sewing tutorial or tip video to help you learn to sew and make it a little less overwhelming. So I'll see you again tomorrow.